What's up, guys? I'm Mike from StockedUp, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have so much information to go over in today's video. A lot has happened over the past couple days. One, stimulus checks are hitting everyone's accounts. We have Bitcoin crossing $60,000. We have important news with the market overall this week. And at the end of the video, we're going to be going over a $32.5 million trade that expires this week. Like I said, we have a ton of plays, a ton of information in this video. Make sure to stick around for the end. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. But with that being said, Tom, what's going on in the market for this week?
Yeah, over the weekend, it was insane. Bitcoin crossed over $60,000 on Saturday morning, continuing its rally up as major companies and financial institutions adopt cryptocurrencies, according to CNBC. And the digital currency is up 963% over the past 12 months, which is moving almost similarly to like Tesla. And also it surpassed $1 trillion in valuation last week for the second time this year. And that's an amazing thing to see, over $1 trillion valuation. It's always good to see that. And man, Bitcoin is just flying. These stocks like MARA and Riot are just going to skyrocket on Monday as long as these prices can hold. And man, I think some of these stimulus checks have people going out and buying Bitcoin and stuff like that.
For sure. And then, like you already covered, I want to talk about, let's say someone can't trade Bitcoin for some reason. There's 2 to 3 stocks that you can trade on the open market that kind of mirror the movement of Bitcoin. So basically, MARA and RIOT will be 2 stocks to look at if you're looking to take advantage of that Bitcoin movement. But here's the thing, let's say the market opens and Bitcoin starts to tank. These stocks will kind of do the same thing. And then there's another one, GBTC, which kind of follows Bitcoin. But overall, just have your eyes on those 3 stocks if you are looking to play the movement of Bitcoin. Personally, I'd rather just play Bitcoin in general rather than these stocks. But overall, we have a lot of important news. Tom, what's going on, with everything opening up? Is there any news with the stimulus checks or, what's going on?
Yeah, the stimulus checks are hitting everybody's account. And then at the same time, the markets are around all-time highs. If we go to S&P 500 futures here, we can see the futures are right around all-time highs. We hit right around 39.59 on Thursday, and then on Friday, the market just barely moved. So there wasn't much going on with the S&P, but we are at all-time highs as these checks hit accounts. And the big thing is are people going to put this money into the market and help break all-time highs? And I think a lot of people think that that's going to happen, but at the same time, there's a lot of talks with, as the economy opens up, inflation and stuff might start going on. And if that happens, we might need to look at some other sectors, kind of like the crude oil sector, which has been on fire, and also some other commodities like gold and copper could be pretty good holds as the economy starts reopening. And then as inflation starts picking up, that news might send the markets down, and we are at all-time highs right now. So the market could always start to pull back.
Yeah, for sure. And then another thing I want to talk about are some sectors or just some stocks in general that did amazing last week. And one of the best plays from last week was Boeing. So this stock absolutely exploded, went from about $220 all the way up to highs of $270. And airline stocks did very, very well last week too, like AAL, DAL, and UAL. And we actually had some news from the TSA, or some data from the TSA, that might actually make these stocks continue higher next week.
Yeah, and that data is really interesting. TSA officers screened 1,357,111 people at airports on Friday, marking the highest number of passengers on any single day since March 15th of 2020. And guys, that's showing why these stocks like DAL, UAL, AAL, this is showing exactly why they're starting to recover, because people are getting back on airplanes and they're screening more people than they've screened in the past year, which is awesome, because over the past year, obviously COVID started getting really rampant around a year ago. And that's whenever all these airlines had to shut down. So it's nice to see them recovering, and man, their stock has been nice. DAL going from lows around $17.50 all the way up to $50. AAL with a huge move from $10 all the way up to $23. So there's a lot of opportunities here in these markets. And I think that even as this summer goes along, these stocks I think they still have some room to still recover. And going back to their pre-corona highs, there's still some room to go there.
Awesome. And then one last thing I want to talk about for the market this week is we have quad witching this Friday. If you're like, what's that? Basically, quad witching is when stock index futures, stock index options, stock options, and single stock futures all expire on the same day. A lot of people love to hype this up and say, oh, the market's going to be crazy on Friday because of quad witching. And sometimes there is a lot of volatility on quad witching days. But for the most part, quad witching days only add more liquidity to the market. So just expect a lot of volume on the market or in the market on Friday. Sometimes there's extra volatility, but just because there's all of that extra volume, it doesn't always mean that there will be that extra volatility. So I just wanted to point that out for everyone to be aware of. But with that being said, let's get right into our Discord member of the day and the momentum plays. So with today's Discord member of the day, we have Citron saying, yesterday marked a massive milestone in trading options and holding on to shares. I finally hit 100,000 starting from $300. After lots of losses and learning from the group, especially Mike and Tom, I could have not done 60% of my profits without them. I don't normally share how much I make or lose, but I'm still learning forever. Love this group, and you will learn to ask if you pay attention to their technical analysis and how fast they cut losses, and they save my account time and time again. So huge shout out, Citron. You've been in the group for a little over a year now, so huge shout out to you. Thank you so much for those awesome words. We really appreciate it. If you guys want to join the group, you can click the first link in the description down below. You can trade with Tom and I, day trades, swing trades, and access to our bots. Here's some example plays from Friday. We were playing the airlines on the run up, holding UAL at a great price, even for a swing trade. But overall, if you want to trade with Tom and I, click the first link in the description down below. We're doing a $40 off sale. But with that being said, let's get right into the momentum plays. With the first momentum play, we have Palantir to the upside. It had a pretty solid week last week.
Yeah, make them break above 27.10.
Sounds good. With the next one, we have DAL.
Yep, with Delta, just make them pass above $50.10, and the airlines are killing it.
Sounds good. With the next one, we have CAT, which had an amazing close on Friday.
Yep, Caterpillar, make them break above 230.
All right, and with the last one, we have GM.
General Motors, a play on EVs almost, but make them pop above 59.62.
Sounds good. So we're eyeing all of these stocks for potential day trades tomorrow, only if they can break above the levels Tom listed. But with that being said, let's get right into the $32.5 million trade for this week. And this one's pretty interesting. So we're looking at GME, and then we're looking at the 800 strike calls that expire this week. So GME is currently at $267. And there was about $32.5 million put into the 800 strike calls on Friday. So this is a pretty interesting play. I would have to say that they are shorting those calls, meaning that they want GME below $800 by this Friday. For someone to put that much money into one weekly calls, but also calls that are, the 800 strike when GME is only at $267. It's a pretty interesting setup, but we all know GME is probably the most volatile, crazy stock on the market, so you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I think it's insane how the 800 strike calls are selling for around $500, Mike. That's an insane amount of money for that far out of the money, I will say. You're about, what are you, like $500 out of the money right now?
Yeah, it's like actually crazy. Like, one, how expensive they are, especially since it's a weekly option. So it's $533 out of the money for a weekly call option. So that's crazy. And then, like you said, it costs like $500 to do that. So that's just crazy. So as always, keep your eye on GME for this week. But let's get right into the questions from the previous episode. With the first question, we have Piper saying, great call outs from you guys this week. Can you talk about NOK and what you see from the shorts? So personally, I'm not holding NOK. I have not researched them too much, but I know a lot of people in the group have done a lot of research on this stock, and they're extremely bullish on it. I'm not in it, but it can be a great play. I just haven't done the research. Overall, it actually had a pretty good day on Friday, up around 3%. It's looking like it's bouncing right off that $4 support, which can be pretty good. It does have resistance around $5. It'll be pretty significant. But Tom, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I really like the support around 370 to $4, like you said. I think it's great that this stock is holding that support. And hopefully in the longer term, Nokia can kind of turn it around and kind of move back to the upside. Over the past few years, they've just been kind of steadily going down slash or staying flat. And at the same time, they dropped to $2. Now they're at $4.22. So it's going to be volatile just given how low of a price it is. But I think that for the longer term, it might be a pretty good, buy low and hold for the longer term. It did go up to 979 whenever GameStop was going crazy. So there is some movement in it, and it does get volatile whenever it likes to run. And I will say though, it could be a pretty decent stock for the longer term, as long as they can kind of innovate and get back up to the market standards. And I'm sure we're going to hear in the comments about why Nokia is amazing too.
For sure. And like I said, I'm not holding any, but I know a lot of people are, one holding shares, but also a lot of leaps in it. So I really hope it does continue up. I know a lot of people have a lot of money in it. I'm not holding anything, but I would like to see it go up. With the next question, we have. Slow and Steady saying, love the videos as usual. Thanks for all the insight. I have some friends holding growth stocks with me, and they sold last week into the lows and have totally missed out on the gains that they could have made. What a shame. I attribute this to not having faith in your picks or blindly buying what others recommend. Always do your own due diligence and build faith in your decision. So 100% agreed. Overall, tech stocks had an amazing run back up last week, but there's a heavy influence in the bond market with tech stocks right now. Overall, we're seeing a lot of people and a lot of money transition out of tech and into Dow stocks. Now, I'm a huge fan of tech stocks and growth stocks for the long term. I think they're going to do amazing. But right now, we're seeing a lot of money just flowing into some of these Dow stocks that haven't fully recovered yet. And I would say the best example of that would be Boeing. Caterpillar actually had an amazing day on Friday. And a lot of bank stocks, too. Even Walgreens had an amazing day. Walmart did pretty good, too. So overall, Dow stocks have just been on a tear lately.
Yeah, and I'm really happy to see Walgreens doing better than it has been. Whenever COVID started happening, I expected Walgreens to kind of start exploding. And I'm glad that they're finally now reaping the profits from that, because it seemed like all these other companies were making pretty good profits from COVID. And meanwhile, Walgreens was going down. But I figured that, them being a healthcare style company, I figured that they were going to kind of make some good profits there. And I'm glad it's finally I'm glad it's finally showing itself in the company here.
Awesome. With the next question, we have I'm Fierce 13 saying, great show. What are your thoughts on TUP? Is it going to fall? So let's take a look at it. Looks like it actually had a horrible week last week from about $32.50 all the way down to, what is that, $24. So it's pretty bad. It is filling the gap right between like 28 and you could say like 25, you could say. Overall, its next support is right around $20 and $22.50. It's definitely not looking too good off technicals. It actually had an amazing year so far, though. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's not looking good off technicals. It really got rejected around that $38 area or around the 1,000 SMA. And then, like you said, it's filling the gap, which is a good sign. Sometimes they fill the gap and then go back up, and sometimes they fill the gap and just keep falling down. So we'll just have to see what direction it starts to move. But just given how it's moved below these technicals and stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if it kept going down with the momentum that it has over the next couple months. And then also keep in mind, it's risen from $1 this year all the way up to $38. So there's still a lot of movement here.
Awesome. With the next question, we have Claire saying, thoughts on IPOE? Thank you for all you do. So thank you for that great comment, Claire. IPOE actually had a pretty good past couple months, you could say. Overall, it opened right around $10 and ran all the way up to 28. Right now, it's sitting right around 19. It is making higher lows, which is always good to see. Do you have any like technical levels or anything you're looking at?
Yeah, with the technicals, whenever it extended down on March 5th and kind of bounced off that $13 support, I thought that was an awesome time. And obviously that you could have bought a bunch of stocks that day, like AND. You could have bought PLTR that day as well. There was a whole bunch of stocks that hit new lows that day, and it was just a good time to buy. But I will say it was good off that support there. and I like it above $16, which I think poses as the next support. And I do like the movement on it. It looks like it's starting to pick back up here. And I think that if we see a lot of these other stocks, kind of like PLTR and BNGO, start to go back up, then I think that some of these other stocks like IPOE will kind of follow along.
Sounds good. Well, Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or any insight for the market this week? I know we have a lot going on, a lot of important news.
Yeah, I usually don't go for stocks like this, but I'm actually going to go with a Kathy Woods pick this week. I'm going to look at BNGO and look at this stock for the longer term because it's a genomic stock and she loves genomics or genomics. Guys, let me know in the comments down below if it's genomics or genomics. But I will say that the stock looks pretty good for the longer term. Kathy Wood is buying into it, so hopefully it can be pretty decent. It's at $9 a share. It was below $1 just last year. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be a very risky stock, but it could be good for the longer term if these medical improvements can start to come around.
Awesome. We all know how Kathy Wood, when she makes a buy, the market loves to, follow her in her decisions. But I'm also going to be looking at Boeing. So this stock was an absolute powerhouse this week. I kind of am expecting it to reverse, but it's just one of those stocks when it has momentum, it can continue for a couple days to even a couple weeks. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some continued momentum, maybe Monday and Tuesday, and then we start to pull back. Overall, it just had a crazy run, and I think if we see another decent-sized update on Monday or Tuesday with Boeing, I think that'll be a pretty good setup for credit spreads to take advantage of these this super crazy pricing with the options on it. But overall, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to trade with Tom and I every single day, plus get access to the bots, the swing trades, and the day trades, you can click the first link in the description down below. We are doing a sale right now. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. But other than that, thanks for watching.